Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to Coffee with Kem and Hills. We don't match today. Yesterday we did. I was hoping it would become a regular thing, but
we did not talk to each other yesterday or today, and clearly did not coordinate.
no, we didn't. But that's okay.
We just talk at the same time instead. Like we're, Siamese twins or something.
Exactly. You know what I didn't even talk about on Monday? When we were talking about what's happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, my sister did have a baby, which was pretty exciting.
Amazing.
Yeah. My sister had her baby finally. I think I've mentioned this on here before, but we were pregnant at the same time, which is so special and great. And now she's left me in the dust. I'm doing it by myself. But yeah, she's healthy. Healthy baby boy.
All right.
And it's just adds so much excitement.
Oh, it's so much fun when there's a new baby.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's fun for other people.
She's in that. Yeah, she's in that newborn postpartum you don't know
haze.
Up from down, right from left.
Sleep is not a thing.
Yeah.
Your body is just a milk machine.
Yes.
You're
and you're healing. It's so many things, and I keep trying
all the time.
to remind her. I'm I know it's hard to see. This is just a season.
Yeah.
It's going to pass. It's a little longer than any of us would want it to be. I understand that. I know that pain.
Yes.
Because the baby doesn't know what's day and what's night. They're just I'm hungry, And so it's a crazy time. But the rest of us are yay,
new baby.
Cute. So,
and it's also such a funny thing. You look back on that newborn time and it's so crazy when you're going through it. But then as the years go past or even months go past, you kind of forget how hard it was.
It's like an evolutionary thing to keep us having babies.
Yeah.
Because if we remembered, we wouldn't do it.
No, definitely not. People would only have one child and be hard pass.
The way my mom talks about labor, it was and then you came out and it was, and then it was, and so I always had this very it was not accurate idea of what happens to your body, about what it is to deliver a human into the world.
Yeah.
And I always have to remind her, I promise you that is not what happened to you. But keep those memories. I like that you have some positive, But I think that's what, there's something that happens that makes us forget.
Oh, for sure.
And we look back and we're oh, it was so special and they were so cute.
So special. My mom did the same thing. She's oh, it didn't hurt that badly. And I was going through it. I was
there is no greater pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She lied to me.
If you mean being ripped apart from the inside out doesn't hurt that badly, then yes, you are right. Anyways, okay, let's get into some hot topics, if that wasn't a hot enough topic for everyone already. All right, this is another article from the Wall Street Journal. Okay, the $1,000 car loan payment, higher prices, interest rates push up monthly costs. So I don't think anyone's surprised, especially people who are looking to get a new car or to get a car.
Yes.
Basically, the car market is mirroring the housing market right now.
Yes, they say that the average cost of a car loan is $686 a month.
Yeah.
Which is up 4% from January and up 13% from last year. So
ouch.
It's definitely a lot more. And to your point, it's definitely mirroring how crazy the housing market is. Everything, supply chain was super impacted, especially for cars.
Yep.
During the pandemic, people wanted cars or needed them because theirs broke down.
And they were moving to, everyone was leaving. They were leaving cities, where you didn't need cars, and they were going to the burbs, and they were needing, transportation.
And even if you lived in a city, maybe it's not New York, I still would never probably have a car here.
Right.
But there are other cities where maybe you got by on public transportation, but during the pandemic, nobody wanted to take public transportation.
Oh no.
I
got out, so I don't know, but I wouldn't have wanted to get back on that train.
Literally.
We call it sardines,
Literally.
so you're
exactly.
Just like little sardines on that train.
So, supply was up, or demand was up, and then supply was very severely impacted, especially by the chips that go in all the cars, because basically you're driving around a computer these days.
Yeah.
So the costs have gone up, and now the costs of the interest rate is up too. So that's contributing to all of this. I mean, I'm like the bringer of great news.
I know.
This morning.
That's what we do.
You're welcome.
I know. I mean, there is just like the reality of like everything that's going on right now. It's hard to not like come in and have those be the hot topics because it's just like, it's what's going on.
It's relevant.
Hopefully we'll be around to tell you when things start shifting and we'll be like, guess what? Housing prices have gone down. Interest rates are at an all-time low. This is reflected in the car market as well. Like that's what we're hoping for.
I mean, even used cars are up.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah. It's so funny because I was reading this article and just days prior, our neighbors they had a van. They have these two little twins, and they went to Hershey, PA, to go to Hershey Park.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, me too. It smells like chocolate.
It does.
Everywhere you go.
And you can eat chocolate almost anywhere.
Anywhere you go.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And their van just broke down dead, not fixable. Dunzoed, okay? In this market as well. And like they're very like financially like savvy, frugal, smart, right? Smart spenders. Very. So, and they were like, we couldn't afford to do anything we would have done before. So they ended up going on Facebook Marketplace and the next door neighbor app and stuff and looking for people who were selling cars and and still like it was very hard. Like they ended up getting a car that had a history of a car accident, which is one thing that like you don't really
typically want to do.
And it was just, it took them and they needed that. I mean, it was like their mode of transportation.
Right.
But they tried going like the used car route, leasing, like all of this, and it was just not feasible.
Yeah.
So, they ended up finding something that was still like overpriced and, because people can sell things for like way more right now, but it was their best option.
I mean, it's so amazing. One of my friends was getting a new used car. His lease was up on his current car.
Yeah.
But he still had like 6 months more on it.
Right.
And he just took it into the dealer and was like, hey, is there any way I can get out of this early? And the dealer was like, I will take it today.
Yeah.
And you can definitely get out of it. And I will give you, he got a rental car for an entire month free of charge because he had like a little bit of lag time between when he was getting his the new car.
Sure. Okay.
But because the dealership could release his car at such a higher rate than he was paying.
Got it. So they were actually making a profit on
making way more money. And so they're like, yeah, we'll give you a rental car for free for an entire month.
Oh, so there's like some perks that could come along with it where it's like win-win for the dealer and win-win for the...
Yeah.
That's interesting. And it's nice like that. I mean, there's like an uplifting story amidst all of this.
But then you're also paying more for a new lease if you're getting another car.
Right. And that's the thing. People are dealing with when their leases are up now to sign a new lease, like it's being like the price is completely jacked up. So you have to factor that into your budget. And it's like, it's just not a good time to be in like the car or housing market, really. No. It's like, if you don't need to, don't.
Yep. Exactly. And with that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with another hot topic.
Hey. Welcome back, everyone. We've got a really fun hot topic for you now.
Kem's favorite topic to talk about.
Love it.
Look at that face. She's so excited.
They're all like, I'll give it like, there were some points that were made that I hadn't thought of, I'll say, but I'm still very weary of this whole concept. Anyway, what is digital fashion and why is it important? This is from Kiplinger. It's all has to do with like, the metaverse and selling digital fashion to your avatars, your non-human self.
I think it kind of opened my eyes up to this whole world.
Yeah.
In a couple different ways. One of the things being that, digital fashion is just that. It's for your avatar.
Yep.
And there's a lot of brands who have gotten into this. They're saying that it's going to be a $50 billion industry.
Yeah, so there's really no
by
turning
2030.
back.
Yeah, exactly. It's here to stay. And I think it's more beyond the NFTs that we have been seeing happen, but really more about clothing your avatar in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But it's like, when you played Sims and you were buying new packs so that you could have different clothing things.
Right. I mean, because they talked about how there are like restrictions when in like the physical clothing world, when you think about manufacturing fabrics, things you can actually make, whereas your options creatively are limitless when it's digital. So from a creative standpoint, you can think of it and look at it as art in a way, and a form of expression for the creator and the consumer, because they're saying that the consumer can potentially express themselves in ways that they might not be able to in the real world. I feel like the thing that just I get nervous about with it, that I get hesitant towards, is that people will just start losing track as to what's
I didn't even think about that.
What's real, what's not, and what's more important. Are we going to start to exist more in this world? And job wise, are we all going to have to start kind of moving into this world if people are starting to exist more in this world? Because you can literally be whatever you want to be, rather than what we were born as. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You could take on a completely different persona.
Yep.
Which is what people love about being online. I mean, that's why trolls exist, right? Because they can be as mean as they want to, and they don't have to face somebody in real life.
Yep.
That's a whole aside. We could talk about that some other time.
That's a wind down right there.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I do think it is interesting. You could say, I would love to, but the idea of wearing fancy ball gowns and gala dresses all the time does not appeal to me physically. But if I had an avatar,
because you poof them, you're in it.
You're fancy dress me up. I'm not going to put that effort into my everyday, but I'll put it into my digital persona.
Totally. And like I said, I like Sims.
Right.
I thought one of the fun processes for me was creating your Sim and dressing them and creating this little, but I typically didn't think of it as a reflection of myself.
Right.
I mean, though it is, because I'm choosing things. I didn't personally put myself as that thing living. It was a game. It was separate, right? And so, the idea of this is a reflection of you, that's you in this metaverse living and doing things and buying things. I mean, it's freaks me out. But then I was thinking, so many people are already sort of doing that on their Instagrams and their TikToks, because there's all of these filters that are altering people's faces.
Yeah.
Literally changing you click the filter and you have a different mouth, nose, skin texture. People have different eye colors.
You already have eyeliner and lipstick on.
Yeah.
You're very blurred.
You're becoming a digital version of it. You're digitizing yourself in a way. And again, that makes me nervous too. But I mean,
they also brought up another thing that actually there's an eco consciousness to this digital fashion. In the way that, especially creators, Instagram creators or whatnot, can actually put on digital versions of outfits. So they're not going through all this fast fashion or spending the money on physical clothing, but do a virtual try on and take their photos.
Oh, that's how they would do it. Because I was wondering, I was wait, so they would be starting to use their avatars as themselves on their pages?
I think eventually it'll probably get that way, but it's
the digital try-on.
The digital try-on.
That's an interesting concept, because people are shopping so much digitally anyway, online at home.
Yeah.
I can kind of get into that, where you can actually try it on yourself and see. I mean, Warby Parker, the eyeglass company, they do that, and I've done it before, where you can digitally try on eyeglasses from home.
Burberry has it in their dressing room, so you can do it digitally. You go into a dressing room and you can pick different colors and stuff like that, so you can see how things
Yeah.
are. And Ulta has it too, where you can try on different lipstick colors and shades to
Right.
see if it's the shade for you.
I mean, I can, especially in like the pandemic age that we're living in now, I like having those options of, because not being able to try things on is frustrating. And then like being like, oh, I'll just order it and then return it. Like, who likes returning things?
And also, it's not something that people talk about, but returning things not only costs a lot of money for brands, but it also is really bad for the environment.
Yep.
A whole nother topic for us to tackle some other time.
All right, I thought this was interesting. 70% of the US Gen Z to Gen X rate their digital identity as important. I mean, I thought it would be just Gen X.
Right.
Gen Z, like my husband's in that category. I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Opposite.
Gen Z.
Gen Z is the younger generation. Your husband's Gen X.
Got it.
Yeah. And we're millennials.
I don't freaking know what's
That's
going on.
okay.
It's
It's just letters.
I
And
mean,
it's easy to, like, ours is cool because we're like a word. Theirs are just letters.
Yeah. Okay. So my husband's Gen X.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So he's just not like that. I mean, he's not in that 70%. I mean, but I do understand, not to the point of having an avatar and being immersed in the metaverse.
Right.
I'm not to that degree, but I know how important like these like social media is to businesses. Like it is. It's
Right.
Like people get jobs based off of their social media presence.
Right.
It's
Especially for in your
world.
Yeah.
It's like a whole thing, and it's
Yeah, I think that it's an interesting, people are very worried or very curated. Like that's the thing. Social media is a very curated place of somebody's life.
Right.
And that's your digital presence. So if your digital presence then becomes this virtual reality, then how are people's behaviors going to change? And
Yes.
you clearly want to clothe said reality in something. So it'll be very interesting to see how this continues to unfold in the coming years.
I know for our children's sake, it's going to be very interesting to like witness what they're going to be confronted with. You know, it freaks me out, to be honest.
It does. Indeed.
All right, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but we will be right back because it is Healthy Wealthy Wednesday. So Hillary's going to have some tips for you. All right, welcome back, everyone. Okay, it is our favorite day of the week over here at ROI TV, other than the wind down, because it's Healthy Wealthy Wednesday. Let's improve our financial wellness. Take it away, Hillary.
So today's Healthy Wealthy Wednesday tip is to set parameters for your emergency fund. But don't be afraid to use it. So, if your emergency fund is there for if you lose your job or if you need to buy a new car and put down a down payment.
Right.
Have those parameters in place so that you know what this fund is going to be for.
Sure.
But then if things happen where you do need to dip into those funds because maybe you don't need a new car, but maybe you need to spend money on maintenance for your car and
The surprises, right?
the surprises in life. Like this is why you have an emergency fund.
Which if you are, you own a car or a home, the emergency fund is so necessary because something comes up, like my husband and I were saying, it's like chasing your tail. It's like something new every day.
Exactly.
No, I like that. That's really good.
So that's your Healthy Wealthy Wednesday tip today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I hope people are taking these tips. I am, because I need help.
Me too.
Yes. All right. So now, you know what? I'm going to remind you all of the shows airing today on ROI TV. So be sure to check out Estate Planning 101, the Blockchain Interviews, the Business of, and Root Financial. You can see them all on ROI TV. We're at Hillary.
We are now on Distro TV, which you can download on almost any streaming platform. And we are also on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or you can find us on your iOS or Android device.
That's right. You heard it here first. We're everywhere.
So watch us live on Distro TV.
Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Coffee with Kem and Hills. We will see you tomorrow.